Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Larry at Heisenberg Forest Products, and this is our weekly video. Actually, I should have cleaned off my camera, and I will do that now. Okay, hopefully I'm not going to mess my gimbal up. There we go. Sorry about that. It's live, so I roll along with it. So I hope you had a great week. We sure did have an awesome week here. So let's start off with Louise's garden again today. I'm just walking towards that garden right now, and let's have a look at how things are growing. So at the far end, that's the east side of the garden, we have our tomatoes. They're still kicking. They're not growing that quickly. You can see that we will be weeding next. Look at all these weeds slowly coming up. So there's usually we find that you gotta weed a couple of times where before the plants take over. So and that's the big the big job is to get this weeded twice, and then usually we're good to go. Tomatoes are doing okay. You can see there's already tomatoes on some of our plants. So these plants here were bought from Costco. So we bought 8 plants. I always have to look at, so they're called early girls. So they're not a big tomato, but big enough for our purposes, because like I told you last time, we, excuse me, we make tomato sauce out of our tomatoes, so they should do the job. And I've got a cherry tomato here, so still no flowers on there. Oh no, I'm lying, there are flowers on there. So we should get some cherry tomatoes soon. And then we bought 4 plants from Canadian Tire. Hey Denis, salut chum. J'espère que tu passes un bel été. J'ai vu tes belles nouvelles sur Facebook. Félicitations. C'est excitant. Pour vous autres, je suis certain. Donc, we bought four plants from Canadian Tire, so they're a bit smaller, but they will eventually catch up. And here we have our waxed beans. So Louise is having a bit of there's a few issues where sometimes the plant comes out and something eats the leaves. So, and I'm not sure what they're called in English. In French, they're called the calimaçon. They're kind of a slug, I think, in English. That's what it's called. So she's gonna have to replant some of those waxed beans. So still early in the season, not too worried about it. So she'll have to do that probably next week. Here we have a whole bunch of weeds. So there should be some carrots coming out. So you see they're coming out today, but all this here, this is all weeds, right? So I'm not sure what these weeds are called in English, but I know in French they're called the choux gras. And when you have choux gras in your garden, it means that it's a healthy garden. So there's a lot of good stuff in the garden, and you get all these choux gras that you have to pull out though. So that's going to be probably next week coming up. So that's Louise's garden. So that was my garden in the last couple of years. So we switched gardens just to move the crops around. So things are doing okay. She's got some flowers here at the end. A little bit sad looking, but we've had such heat in the last couple weeks, so it's been a bit of a challenge, and I suggested that maybe she should put some shavings in between the rows to keep the moisture in, because you can see the top part of the row is a little high and it's drying up really quickly. And I watered this garden this morning, so you can see the sun's pretty hot. I also mowed my lawn, so this is only part of it here. So all of this, all the way down here, right up to the blue pallets, is one area. This takes me about an hour and a bit on my Husqvarna articulating lawnmower, and I love driving that thing. So I did that last weekend. I've got a little bit of an area here where there's a ditch, so I do that by hand. Did that too. Plus I did my woodlot which took me about an hour. So there's about 4 hours of lawn mowing here. Now I didn't do the field at the back there, and the reason I didn't do it was Louise didn't want me to cut it because there's some nice flowers in the field. So I'm gonna wait till the flowers die and then I'll get out there and mow that. I don't know if you remember last week. This is my corn patch. So I got 9 rows of corn, and I barely had anything in there last week. Now if you look at this. Wow, the corn really grew this week. Now corn loves heat, so as soon as the earth gets warm enough, corn really grows. So this is about 2 weeks old. So I'm just zooming in. See how this corn grew. Now I had maybe a couple stalks last week when we came out here, and this week it's growing. So like Louise, I'm gonna have to get in there next week and start pulling out some weeds, because there's a lot of weeds coming up. Thing I did differently from Louise is I put some shavings in between my rows, so that's keeping, and you can see the top part of the row is staying a little bit drier than her garden. So I suggested to her maybe we should try that in her garden. So when I've got lots of shavings on my property, so from the wood business, so we'll see if she decides to go that route. But even with the shavings, you can see here, see how it's dry? And I watered this garden. I forgot my hose in there this morning for 2 hours, so it dried up pretty quickly. So, but I'm happy that the corn is growing. And even I had some, like I planted a stalk every 6 inches, and yes, I do use a tape measure. That's how anal I am. So I should have a stalk every 6 inches, and it's looking like I'm gonna have like most seeds produced. So that's awesome. This little garden here under our sign, and I love this sign. It was designed by my daughter, my graphic designer daughter. You can probably recognize this ugly mug here. This is our business sign, so I repainted that this year. It looks good. Under here we do have some flowers, so we planted some flowers here to encourage some bees, and we've got some cucumbers, so pickling cucumbers. I had to look because I couldn't remember. So they're doing okay, not growing as fast as I would thought they would have, but they're growing, right? So we should have some cucumbers. Louise's plan is to have them grow vertically, so she'll put some string up on my beautiful sign here, and she's gonna try to get them to grow like vertically. So those are doing okay. So those are the pickling cucumbers that she's planning to grow. We will end up making some pickles out of those. Now let's go for a little walk to the greenhouse here. You can see all the windows are open because it's so freaking warm in there. Let me get the door. Oops. So let's get in here. So you can see right now, even with all the windows open, it's 30 degrees Celsius. Now our little tomatoes here, they're not doing too great. They're still alive, but they're not growing fast enough. I think we need to get them into some bigger pots, and we're just having fun with those. This week Louise planted some chives, which haven't come up yet. Not sure what's in this pot here, probably more chives. Some basil. Well, the basil is coming up. See, little basil plants right there and there. So we'll see how that works out. And in here, she's got, she tried to plant some oregano. Oh, I see a little, you see here? So that could be an oregano plant coming up. And parsley in here. Not seeing, oh, there might be one. No, that's not a parsley plant. Okay. And in here she planted what she thought was spinach, but we're not sure. It looks like a tomato plant, so we're not sure what's growing in here. We'll see. There's another plant coming up here, so we'll see next week, right? When I come back next Friday, we'll see if this starts coming up. But it's freaking hot in here. I'm gonna walk out of here, back into the wind. Chickens are doing okay. those guys are going probably next week. So I need to reach out to my buddy Justin. So if you're interested in the chicken part, I do a live video on Wednesdays about our chickens. I almost forgot this week. Rhubarb is growing and the stalks are bigger. So they're calling for rain for the next 5 days or so. So maybe next week, in between getting the chickens processed, I might come back here and pull some rhubarb out and make something out of it. Haven't decided yet. Look at those onions. They're coming up in a big way. So you can hear our laying chicken saying hi. Hi girls. They're doing okay. They're happy. They're laying eggs. That's all that we need, right? So here we're growing some onions. Oops, my gimbal's not happy. So we're growing some onions. They're coming out nice. Louise ended up building this little wall here to hold the dirt from falling in front of the chicken coop. So we did that this week. And I also finished building my storm drain. There's the storm drain. Hi, Kev. Kevin was one of my former students when I was still a principal. So a storm drain is built. I just need to get something on top of it. So I'm looking for a grate. So I'm going to talk to my brother, see if he has something on the farm that I could use. I just need to measure this, and if he doesn't have anything, I'll find something somewhere. So that's that. I'm going to keep walking here. The dogs are out. Hello, Lucky. This is Lucky. Lucky is a 13-year-old dog. This is my buddy. Yeah. And little Kiana here. She's the newest addition. She's about a year old. We've had her since, I think, last April. We love her. She's a great dog. So I'm going to walk under here to the back part of our property. Oh, just wanted to show you this. Look, we have some chipmunks, and they've built a maze of holes right all over the place, right? Lots of chipmunks here. Chipmunks and squirrels. I think they can coexist because they seem to be okay. So here's Julianne's cantaloupe that she ended up cantaloupe, I guess in English, that she planted at school. So Louise put this in a nice pot, and there's this looks like a pepper. I'm thinking it's a pepper plant. Here we have our squashes, so they've grown since last week. So if you want to see the previous week's video, there's two ways you can do this: the hard way or the easy way. The hard way is to go on my Facebook timeline and scroll back till you find last week's video. The easier way is to go on our YouTube channel. So I've got a YouTube channel called Breaking Gardens. So if you type in Breaking Gardens on YouTube, you'll find all our videos. So this is our third one here. So you can see here the squashes are growing. So there's spaghetti squash and butternut squash here. Here we had nothing last week, so there's 3 tomato plants here, and they're Julianne's plant that she planted at school. So we've planted those here close by to our house, and hopefully they'll grow. Here, this looks like, I'm thinking cucumbers. I can't remember. Luis planted something here. It could be something else too. Let me check what this is here. Oh, butternut squash. Okay, butternut squash. So I couldn't remember what she planted like seeds here. So they're coming out. Our radish are out. So that's going to be nice in some salad, and then more squash here. So like I said last week, I was kind of hoping to get some work done here. And there's work that has been done, but not by me. It was all Louise doing this work. So she started cleaning up this corner here. So I don't know if you remember, this plant here used to come right over top of here, and she's trimmed it way back. So now we can see our beautiful rocks. And we're planning to do the same in this corner here. So we're gonna either pull this out together or trim it down to like a small tree. And I've got a beautiful rock back here that I spent so much time putting together, and we can't even see it. So I'm thinking maybe I'm just gonna use a chainsaw and cut most of this plant and maybe just leave one tuft and see what happens. And if it's too ugly, then we'll just pull it all out altogether. So these were really small plants which we didn't really take care of, but if you look in there, look at that, what a mess. Also finally landed somewhere with that famous pool slide that I talked about last week. I'm gonna pull this out. I went and talked to my buddy Chris, and he didn't have a solution, but suggests maybe you should go see a body shop and see if they can fix it. And I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna pull this out, cut the so I'll try to just take out the legs here and cut the bolts right flush to the cement, and open this end up. It served its purpose. We used it when the kids were small. We had a lot of fun. So, and we still have our diving board, so we can use the diving board to get into the pool. So I need to get this out. Now my challenge right now is I can't keep up, right? So I'm trying to do the wood business, and I got an order this week, so I'm trying to get all this wood cut for this lady. And I'm not getting to this work here. Now it's been really hot, so it's hard to work in the afternoon. So I haven't done much enough work in the garden. So I'm just gonna have a seat here. Oh, this is a nice area right here. I love having a coffee out here and spend some time reading. You can see Alex is up on the deck there, enjoying some downtime from work. And anyways, I just want to see if I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. So like I said, most of the work done around the pool was done by Louise, and we're chipping away at the pool area. It's going to be a whole summer project. So, and we've got there's so many things we want to do back here over time. Like we want to take this fence down, build a structure in the corner that will look similar. Well, I want it to look similar to our pool house. So there's a lot of stuff that I need to do. Oh yeah, so here we're sitting, let me zoom into this. We're sitting under our sun's shelter, and this sun shelter was the perfect height. So Louise and I are not that tall. I'm 5'10". Now what happened was this sun shelter kind of caved into the ground. See how, hey, I think I got cut off. Anyways, I'll just continue and I'll have two different videos, or I'll try to splice them together. So what happened, the sun shelter kind of caved in. So now when I come by here, I usually hit my head. So I want to raise it up by about 4 inches. So a couple of, maybe 1 or 2 slabs of, I can't think right now, 1 or 2 patio stones, and bring it up by 4 inches. So that's the plan for this sun shelter. So I'm just gonna jack it using a farm jack of some sort, and I'll bring it up that way. So that's hopefully gonna get done this summer. So we'll see. That's another project. And when I put it on video, I end up putting some pressure on myself to get it done. So for sure the pool slide needs to come out, and I'm hoping to get this done. Now it's all based on the amount of time I have. I need to mow my lawn again probably this week. We're looking at 5 days of rain, which, you know, I'm not gonna get much work done outside. Plus Louise and I are celebrating our birthdays on Wednesday, so we'll certainly take some time to go out for supper or lunch or something. So yeah, that's where we're gonna be at this week. Plus I need to get my chickens processed, so there's another day. So probably won't get as much work as I'm hoping to do, but we'll try. Anyways, this is the end of my video. Now I got cut off for some reason, so I'll try to splice the videos together somehow. I might ask my son to help me with that. I'd like to put them just together as one, so we'll see how that pans out in the end. So I'm gonna sign off with this shot here again, This is beautiful. I went for a swim yesterday. I just jumped in the pool and it was so refreshing. You'd think I'd be in there every day, but nope. I rarely jump in my pool. I'm not sure why. I just love having a pool. Anyways, that's the end of the video for this week. Ciao, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.